we are going to transform a human t-shirt into a dog t-shirt in 4 steps. Good job deserves a good reward. Hi, welcome back to my channel La Fraise. I'm Noémie, and this week we are going to take a human t-shirt and make it fit our furry friend. So this technique is going to work for any size of dog. Find your furry friend and a measuring tape, and let's get right in. So this technique will work with any size of dogs, but I would recommend find a t-shirt that is already not too far from the final size of your dog. So obviously if you start with an XL t-shirt and you try to fit it on a Chihuahua, it's going to be quite a challenge. So start with a t-shirt that is not too far from the size of your dog. My assistant here today is a Corgi, and he is a cast member of the musical Legally Blonde, so I want to adapt his cast t-shirt so that it fits him. To be honest, he could really have done with an S. They didn't have any smaller than M, so we're going to work from this. But again, the closer to your actual dog size, the easiest it's going to be. And it's particularly important, again, if you have a very small dog, you actually need whatever is printed on the t-shirt to be kind of sized to your dog. Because imagine again, if I had to make this fit on a Chihuahua, I would really have to cut into the picture. So make sure the starting t-shirt is kind of matching the size of your dog, and also that you are on the bigger side. So obviously size of your dog, but you cannot put fabric when there's no fabric. So size of your dog, but on the larger end, not like size of your dog a little bit too small. Okay, so we are now going to measure our furry friend, and we are going to measure him here around the tummy area. And if there's the part of the tummy that is the widest part of the tummy, you are going to measure that. I'm going to have to make Milo here stand, because if he's sitting, the weight distribution goes a little bit differently, and he does measure a lot bigger when he's sitting than when he's standing. So, okay, and we are going to measure him around the tummy. Good job. Good job. Yes, and Milo's right. A good job deserves a good little reward. So from there, we also going to make the most of having our furry friend on hand and measure where we want the pose holes to be, because we are going to have to adapt the sleeves for him. So I'm going to put the t-shirt on just to see where I would like the neck hole to end up. Watch out, I'm not going to put the neckline where it currently falls on him, because the moment it's quite wide, so the neckline would go very low, and that we will correct later. I would like the neckline to sit at about here. So then I'm going to measure from here to between his paws, and once more, good job deserves a good reward. You can free your dog from the t-shirt, and the last thing you will need to measure, if your dog doesn't mind, is the space between their paws. Now that you have those 3 measurements, that is around the tummy, that is the space between the neck and the center of their paws, and the distance between their paws, we are ready to start sewing. So as we are working on the knit fabric, if you are using a regular machine, you are going to use a zigzag stitch, and I will show you the exact settings I use in a second. If you are using a serger, I do really recommend actually starting with a zigzag stitch and not cutting away your seam allowances, and only once you've seen that yes, it does fit your dog and we have reached something good, then only go and serge your seams. Because honestly, it is not so easy to always measure a dog properly. They have their little character, they don't love to be measured for too long. So I would really suggest start by just doing a zigzag. It's going to be easier to unpick if you need to unpick it and adjust it. And also do not, and that is true for everyone, do not cut the fabric before you've tried your t-shirt on your dog. So the first step is to turn your t-shirt the wrong way around. There we're going to set it to a zigzag stitch. 2.5 to 3 centimeters is fine. And we're going to put 3 here. I do not have a matching thread, but obviously it looks a little bit better if your thread is matching your project. And make sure you are using a stretch needle or a jersey needle. It makes it a little bit easier with sewing a t-shirt. The first step is going to take the side seams and to bring them fully in. So for that, I personally took the size of my dog and I added 4 inches of ease, that's about 10 centimeters, and that's simply because it is quite tricky to put a t-shirt on a dog. You have to rely on having a little bit of extra room to put the paws in and everything. So having this extra room allows you to put the t-shirt on. I'm then going to cut, so in what's the back of the t-shirt, this way I preserve the motif on the front, I cut 2 holes for the paws. And again, make sure that you're giving yourself plenty of room. You have measured just before the little distance here, and in the end I saw the distance I had between the paws, but trying the t-shirt on I saw that there was too much tension, so I have cut quite generous holes for the paws of my dog. This way it's comfortable to put his paws in and out, because again it's a little bit of an awkward position to put a t-shirt on your dog's paws. The way I have finished the armholes for my dog, I actually used the hems that were on the original sleeves, and I think it works quite well and it looks quite polished. So I literally cut the hems of the sleeves and I placed them right side against right side, so like so, and I sewed all around the little sleeve opening for my dog, and so this way he has little sleeve finishes on his sleeves. And honestly, this part is the trickiest one. The paw opening is the hardest, so if you want to make it a little bit easier on yourself, you could also just like zigzag the edge or overlock the edge or do nothing, because t-shirts don't fray. So if you just want to cut 2 holes to put their paws into and it works, you don't have to finish them if that's a little bit too complicated for you. Number 3 is to finish the hem at the appropriate length. So the issue with this t-shirt was that when I put it on Milo, it was basically going all the way to his tail. It was a little bit too long. It wasn't comfortable for him to move his back legs. And luckily it is long enough so that the entire poster can still fit on the t-shirt. I have simply cut a straight line across to where the t-shirt should end. So very easy, make a hem. And the very last step is to bring the shoulders in, and I will show you inside of the finished garment here what this looks like. And this is basically to cut the very square angles we created here by taking the side seams in, and to make it a little bit rounder and match your puppy's shape a little bit better. So as you can see, I simply took very quickly after the end of the collar and I made a straight line here that kind of joins at the seam, and I try to make not too sharp an angle, because otherwise you would have a point here again. If you want to try to make it nice and smooth and it goes very smoothly into the side seam, it's going to be the neatest. And this is what's going to make it fit really nicely around your dog's shoulders. I thank you so much for watching this short little tutorial, and if you are making t-shirts for your doggies, please send me a photo on Instagram. It will be so cute, I can't wait to see them. Thank you so much for watching. Like this video if it was helpful, don't hesitate to subscribe if you want to see more from me, and don't forget that you can make anything, including clothing for your pets. Bye!